The basketball version of the Backyard Brawl, or as I've heard it called, the Basket Brawl, is coming up this Thursday, November 13th. The game will tip off at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time and will air on FS1. And in this episode of Couz's Corner, I'm going to preview that game. We're going to look ahead at it. I'll give you some keys to the game for the West Virginia Mountaineers to come out with a victory, some players to watch on the Pitt side. And we're just going to break this game down the best I know how. So stick around and let's do it right now. What is up, and welcome into this episode of Couz's Corner, your home for top-shelf college sports news and analysis, mainly surrounding the West Virginia Mountaineers and sometimes a little Big 12. In this episode, we are going to break down and preview the upcoming college basketball game, the Backyard Brawl version, between West Virginia and Pitt. The game is taking place. I mentioned the time and where it's airing. It will take place in Morgantown. West Virginia will be the home team this year. And oh, by the way, at the end, I will also give you my score prediction. You drop your score prediction down below for me. Please let me know who you think comes out on top and by what score. If you the spread is not out on this game yet. Basketball spreads typically don't come out until usually about 24 hours or so before the game. So check it maybe on Wednesday or Thursday over at DraftKings to see if they've come out with their spread yet. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive in. When you dig into the numbers with these two teams, man, there are a lot of similarities. They both have a lot of new players on the roster. Pitt has more returning guys than West Virginia does, obviously, because West Virginia is pretty much changing out everyone. They do have more continuity. Pitt does have more continuity on their coaching staff. You know, most of us know by now Jay Couz, who used to be the general manager at West Virginia, is now the general manager at Pitt. So they are doing a really good job in recruiting right now, in large part due to him and his ability to do that. Jeff Capel's the coach at Pitt, has been there for several years now, but some of the key players to look for on the Pitt team, we'll go over that first. Look out for DeMarco Minor. He's a 6-foot guard, can really shoot the basketball. Right now, he's averaging about 14.3 points a game, leading the team in assists with 4 assists a game. Also in the team with 2 steals. He's a veteran player. He's a 5th-year player, and he has been having to pick up some of the slack because, or at least he did the last game, because their leading scorer, Brandon Cummings, actually missed the game against Eastern Michigan, and his status for the game against the Mountaineers is unknown right now, but he's a 6'3" guard. He's a transfer who came in from Florida State last year, averaging 18.5 points in the 2 games he did play against Longwood and against Youngstown State. He's 7 of 12 from three-point range, so he can really shoot the lights out. But, it'll be will his ankle. It's an ankle injury. Will his ankle be healed up in time for the Backyard Brawl? We do not know. But just as a fun fact, his nickname is Biba, I guess. Anyway, his name is Brandon Cummings. And then underneath, look out for Cameron Corrin. He's a 6'10" big, averaging about 36 minutes a game, so leading the team in minutes. He's averaging 15 points, 10.67 rebounds, and 2 blocks a game. He's really their biggest threat inside, but he will turn it over, and he is averaging 4 fouls a game. So if you drive the ball at him, he may put you on the line. And that is actually one of my keys to the game is free throw shooting, or just shooting in general, which I'll get to in a minute. But Pitt may put West Virginia on the free throw line. Can they make their free throws? That's going to be key in this game. One of the keys anyway. So let's go ahead and dovetail into that, segue into that. Free throw shooting. I mentioned free throws. Pitt right now is shooting 68.2% from the floor. We all know West Virginia has been struggling from the free throw line. They're shooting it at 67.8%, but Pitt not much better. West Virginia is 230th in the country in free throw shooting. Pitt, 223. So which one of these teams can make their free throws? That's going to be critical in this game. Pitt has been putting their opponents at the line a little bit more frequently than West Virginia has. So maybe that will be a factor as well, but which team makes free throws down the stretch? Because I have a feeling this will be a tight basketball game. So whoever makes their free throws is likely going to come out on top, or at least has a much better chance to come out on top. Second biggest key to me for West Virginia is their three-point shooting, their outside shooting. Pitt is a bigger basketball team. Yes, West Virginia has Harlan Obioha. He's a bigger body than anyone Pitt has as far as his weight, 260, 280, whatever he's weighing right now. Pitt's big guys are a little slimmer, but they have more length. Pitt has more length down low. So West Virginia, and they do a pretty good job of keeping their opponents out of the paint most of the time. So West Virginia will need to make their outside shots. So it's going to be up to people like Honor Huff. going to be up to people like Trace and Eaglestaff, even Brennan Lorient and everyone else to make their three-point baskets. Right now, West Virginia is shooting 33.3%, which is good for 144th in the country. That number needs to come up because they're off. It's too important to this team and to what they want to do. And Pitt is doing a pretty good job of defending the three. They're 85th in the country, giving up only 26.9% from three. So can West Virginia not only do better than what Pitt's been giving up, but can they shoot the ball at a higher clip than they've been shooting it, higher than that 33.3%? And another reason it's important for West Virginia to make those threes is because West Virginia has been struggling on the boards. Pitt, not so much. Right now, Pitt is 38th in the country in total rebounds per game with 44. And even better than that in defensive rebounds per game, averaging 29 of those a game, which is 28th in the country. West Virginia, in order to keep Pitt off the defensive glass, what do you need to do? You need to make your shots. If the shot goes in, they can't defensive rebound it, can they? No, they can't. And when you look at West Virginia's offensive rebounds per game, they're 236 in the country. So they don't do a good job offensive rebounding, right, on their missed shots. So more than likely, if the shot goes up and it misses, Pitt is more than likely, more times than not, Pitt's going to come down with that rebound. So it's important that West Virginia makes their shots to limit Pitt's possessions. And if I'm West, Ross Hodgie is known to play a slower pace offense, take a lot of the shots late in the shot clock. I think that's going to be key in this game and may bode well for West Virginia in this game because you want to limit Pitt's possessions because they're likely going to beat you on the boards. How else do you limit their possessions? Especially if you're not making your shots, you take your shots late in the shot clock, and then you make up for it on the defensive end, which is my third key, turnovers. West Virginia has an advantage coming into this game in turnovers. Right now, Pitt is turning it over 13 times a game. West Virginia, which is 191st in the country. West Virginia, on the other hand, is forcing 16 turnovers a game right now, which is 56 in the country. Pitt, though, is not forcing a ton of turnovers on their end. They're only forcing 9.7 a game, which is 301st in the country. And West Virginia's committing about 11 a game. You'd like to see that number come down a little bit. Will they come down to Pitt's average to 10, 9 or 10, or can they do better than that? And can they do what they've been doing in previous games and force Pitt to turn it over? In 2 of Pitt's 3 games this year, they've turned it over 16 times, right at West Virginia's average. If West Virginia can get Pitt at or above that 16 turnover a game average, stay below 10 turnovers themselves, make 40% of their outside shots, I think that's a good recipe to win, especially if they can hit 70% or better from the free throw line. Now, when you look at this, both these teams are 3-0, but both have played inferior competition up to now. So this will be both of them. This will be their first time playing a Power 4 opponent or a high major opponent, they say in basketball. Right now, I'm giving the edge to West Virginia because they're at home. It's going to be inside Hope Coliseum. I'm giving West Virginia the edge here, and I'm predicting West Virginia to come out on top in a fairly low-scoring game. I think it's going to be more of a defensive battle. Neither one of these teams are great on the offensive end, especially if Brandon Cummings can't play for Pitt. They're going to be leaning on a freshman, probably Omar Witherspoon, to try to fill in that gap. He's not near as elite of a scorer as Cummings is. If he doesn't play, I definitely give the edge to West Virginia. But either way, I think West Virginia comes out on top, 63-57 in the basketball version of the Backyard Brawl. Once again, go to DraftKings before the game, maybe 24 hours or so before, to see what the odds are, what the spread is on the game. And if you want to place your bets over there, that's where you want to do it, over at DraftKings. Thank them for sponsoring the show. Also, a shout out to our friends over at Rogue Sports Network for allowing me to be part of their family. Also, a shout out to Appalachia Digital. If you want to get yourself a new website, go to appalachiadigital.com/Couz. Let them know I sent you. If you want to upgrade your current site, they can help you do that too. Check them out over at appalachiadigital.com. I want to remind you to please hit the thumbs up button on this video if you liked it. Please subscribe to the channel. Both of those are free and easy. You'll see buttons for that right below. Want to give a shout out to my paid VIP members of this episode. They are WVU Fan 13, Todd Biela, Freedom, Crispy OO, and Browns and Beers. Thank you all for being paid members. You can join that club by hitting the join button below or the join button over at my homepage right beside my profile photo. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Hope the rest of your day is top shelf. God bless you, and Q Country Roads.